Hey everyone, you should hear it if it works. I hope it does. 1, 2, 3, check the sound. I hope it works. Does it? Anyone? So, we got interrupted here, right? And that's the main... Okay, it works. I can hear myself. That's the main reason why I'm here at all, because I wanted to do it in text. It would be much more compact for most of us. But right now, I think you can be here to see that and ask me if you want. Because I had two questions and I felt I owed you one to answer them. The first one was, would I ever feature a Pump It Up game again? Yeah, I would like to, because I think it's a very good... First of all, I owe Pump It Up in some ways. I was there when it started for me, was there as a starting musician. I was doing music for, let me count, something like 4 or 5 years, which is more than 15 now. And it totally changed my life. That's why I'd like to. It was my dream in the beginning to be in music games. And luckily, it all happened for me. So right now, I'm honestly looking at Pump It Up as a game which could use some, I don't know, another musical touch. Let me put it that way, because there is not much diversity right now, much more than in some other games, and the material is quite good. Most of the time it's awesome, actually, but I think you can agree with me, anyone who plays a lot, that all modern games, especially hard tracks for them, are going to the same direction. Let me write something in our chat. Welcome. You can still ask questions. So what I was talking about is we have a lot of fast music right now in rhythm games, which is not bad, but they are, let's say, stylistically similar. Which I don't think is very awesome. I don't think it should be like this all the time, and it kind of monogenizes. I don't know the right word for it in English, but it comes to a point where you can't really differentiate. You still have your occasional, like, Catch Me, which I love, and other kind of boss songs that don't sound bossy, don't sound fast, don't employ a lot of arpeggios in there. So I think you can work it out. I hope, at least. But I don't know if that would be reasonable in terms of selling a product. Because right now, these boss songs are, of course, for people who try to have a challenge for themselves, and not necessarily the casual player who gets K-pop songs and all that stuff, which is good, which is the way that it always worked. But when I started being a fan of rhythm games, I think what I was most attracted with is diversity. Genre diversity and some forms that wouldn't necessarily make sense outside a music game, which, by the way, goes for boss songs as well, right? Because we have all mechs-like, let's call it them that way, songs, like Max 300 and Energizer and Pandemonium, all this stuff, which goes on into other games, of course. I'm starting with DDR and IDG examples, which were the first ones for me. Paranoia, obviously. But then you go to Pump It Up and you see, before Dignity, you see something like Will o' the Wisp, which is not, it's not a genre of music you are going to present to other people who are not interested in electronic music specifically. And even in this case, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense until you try to play along. So what I'm planning to do is to learn more. I played Pump It Up for more than 10 years. Since 2004, I played, I do music much more than that. But right now, I need to learn more about that stuff. Now we have, in my city, now we have Pump It Up Prime, the second version. And it's a good experience for me, because I can look into it, I can understand better what works. I can try to catch which songs are cutting through the noise better, because right now our machine doesn't work as loud. I can try to find which genres work much more, because I wanted to achieve that when I was writing Just Kidding. If you know this track, you know it's quite poppy, it's kind of linear, but with its own gimmicks. Well, right now I'm thinking of revisiting this. But mostly I would like to focus on music itself, because writing music for a specific reason is good enough, but I would like to reach for more. Not that I'm talking about my inspirations and plans career-wise, but more specifically, I think I'm talking about like opening my inner doors, because some of them closed, and it's not that pleasant, honestly. It's not a good feeling. But finally, I feel like they open. They try to find their way outside of my life. I'll message. I'll have a chat message for 1 second. I'm sorry. Hey, come to a live stream. I'm talking right now, because you see, we had a live stream, not a live stream, but a premiere of Amateur Let Me Play, my new track, which was quite a game for me. Let's talk about it later. And we got cut. I didn't know that it would work like that. After we had a video, there was just so little time for us to talk in the chat. We just barely started, and then it all came like crashing down and disappeared on us, which is not good. So right now, I'm going to post the same link I posted in the stream. It was supposed to be exclusive, but I guess it's no matter right now. You can grab it. It's a bonus pack for this song. It contains some special things, let's say. Once again, I think I will go into details later once I answer the second question, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was, and I can't see the chat replay. I remember I had two questions. First was about PU and another was about something else. So the experience was kind of strange. I guess maybe it works for longer movies or something, but still I think I'm going to try to repeat it. And by the way, if you are offended by my English, I am sorry. I don't want you to be. I want you to be comfortable right now. I want it to sound nice, and I don't want to stick out. I don't want it to be apparent to you that I'm Russian. I still love my country. Not still, I just love my country. Maybe much better than other countries, I mean. But when I'm talking to you, I don't want this to be a thing, right? I don't want it to be sticking in your ears when you are listening to me. As much as I can right now. Well, I think I will repeat a premiere thing. I think we can work it out. I think we can make it a habit, as I thought before. It could be a nice thing. But maybe next time we will do it as a live stream. It's more prone to failure, which is not good. And also, it's not leaving a trace of a track like it does right now, right there. You can just open the video and it will work, I guess. I'll have to see if it still adds the intro, tick, tick, this intro that you are supposed to see when you're tuning in. But if it doesn't, it's much better for the channel. It's less hustle, less hustle, less notifications for everyone. Which is better. I don't want it to be like, hey, this track, let's go. It's rather annoying. I don't think that everyone appreciates this kind of thing as well. But still, I had requests to have my music on YouTube because apparently it's very convenient for people. So let's work it out. Two options. Either we have just a live stream altogether, or we have this track play out and then we move to a live stream, which is kind of awkward, but I think works better in terms of preserving the material. So I have a chance to talk, which is rare. I hope that you would be listening and that would be interesting to you. So let me talk about the most recent track that I've just posted. I'm a Child, Let Me Play is a title that implies that sometimes I just don't care about everyone's opinions. Not in a bad way, but I think you are supposed to. Let me put it this way. If you are a person who creates something, which I hope is a very not so, let's say, not that, it's not a thing, not a rare thing, hopefully, amongst my listeners. I guess a lot of us are involved, not necessarily in art, but sometimes in just creating things. It's much more common than it was. I'm sorry. When I was starting out, because it was very special to say that I'm doing music, I'm writing music. Wow, that was a very rare thing. Right now, it's not that rare. It's still like a special occupation, and you have to feel a vocation to do it. But it's not a very rare thing either. So what I'm getting at is, if you are very concerned about your likes and subscriptions and keeping to a profile that you've checked, I think you can limit yourself. And I suppose it's not a problem for everybody, right? It shouldn't be. A lot of people see these things as a career choice, and I think I do as well. Some others would think that you need to stick to your plan in order to achieve anything. Well, I suppose to each is its own. For me, it works the way I said it. I need to be willing, I need to be free to go to explore things and to try something new out. If I'm not interested, it's very rare I go and do anything, really. So I have to keep the flame working, the flame going. And the option I see is trying all the stuff in music. And I did it from the get-go because I wanted to be proud of myself. I still want to, but it's not a main thing right now at all. But then it was a thing to show that you have these capabilities, you have the options, you have the scope. Right now, I want to see if I'm able to talk in a musical language in different ways. That's why I want to be more freeform. That's why sometimes rhythm games are just too limiting. They have their special... you have to do special things for them. You have to be in a special timeline. You have to do only 2 or 3 or 4 kinds of compositions in order to make it work, right? So that's not something I'm very keen on doing 24/7, but that's something I would like to do occasionally. So to keep people flowing in, to keep myself in check. But I'm very into ambient stuff right now, and I want to try different synthesized things and maybe rock songs and all the different stuff which is in front of me. It's something I really look forward to. There are not that much things that I would say I would regret not doing it before I die. That would be the one. I want to do all these things before I die. It would be good to travel, but not necessarily. I won't be very sorry. I still would like to meet some of you, though. I would like to shake hands with some of you. I remember your screen names. I see them frequently, and some people I would just like to talk to. It would be very interesting to me to be able to discuss things, to see different nationalities. Okay, I changed my mind. I would like to travel before I die. But first things first. And I suppose I have an obsession. And I'm very glad that I have some people to fuel it. I don't want it to be a mute point. Moot point? Mute point? Once again, I'm making these stupid Russian mistakes. Hey, Puff, I see you there. And Project 19, I'm not sure how, first of all, how do I pronounce it? Is it Projet? Because I am is obviously English, but I learned a little bit of French at school, but I can't remember anything, and I wouldn't embarrass myself doing it right now. So, let me talk about the link, because I see people popping in the chat. Let me put it in the description. Right now, I guess it's going to appear for you. I hope maybe if you refresh the page. So this strange link, looking like yadi.sk/d/ something, is a link to a bonus pack devoted to my latest song that you've just listened to, hopefully. It contains some special things that you wouldn't get if I didn't give it to you. Two piano things that are mocking the melody from the track that I've just played for the trailers, for the announcements on YouTube and on SoundCloud. By the way, do you like it at all? Did you like the thing that I'm talking to you? Because I really would like to talk to you, maybe more than I'm doing right now. Maybe regularly on some topics, because I think that's what's missing. I'm very hands-on with my Russian audience. I'm always talking to them on VK, and it's a place where I feel like I have the best connection. But in English, I always just post a track and run away from Facebook, because I don't like it at all. I'm trying to get my way into Twitter, which is strange because I didn't like it either before. I like the format. I like the short format. It works for me right now. So the question is, if you would like me to speak to you more. And let's get back to the description of the pack. You can see that you have some extra sounds from the track extracted from the context of it. You can hear a drumless version of a song, which is quite rare to listen at all in any circumstance. And I think I feel it would be interesting for people to see. Because once again, unless I provide you with that, there's no chance it can work. For some track, I find it works better than for others. So, for example, my track called Love Maths sounds wonderful without drums. Actually, a little bit better than with them, in my opinion. Also, it has to do with a track itself that I was a little bit less experienced. So it should be kind of, it should make sense that drums could be a thing that masks a lot of little tiny details that I loved to do before. So drumless version of a track, of this particular track, sounds something like this. Let me play a little bit for you. So I'll just leave it there. I think it's a little bit, it's a nice bonus, and it's not very like dangerous for me in terms of distribution or sampling. For God's sake, it will work itself out. We all sampled the aim in break. Come on, it's not that bad. It's not a remix pack after all. You can hear some sounds if you're interested, some small details that you didn't like look into before. And another version of a track that you can find in the pack is solo-less. So it's everything just like the track, but this part is missing the lead instrument. And the idea is, if you are a practicing musician, if you want to play, you can. You can find a key for the song and you can play a solo or sing over. And it's just like a backing track, but with music of an artist you already know. I like me some bonuses like this. I love a cappella versions from my favorite artists. So I just try to provide what I would like myself. Also, you would find some special sounds, just I won't spoil it, and a little like 2 or 3 pictures that are connected to our premiere once again. So, if you have any questions, you can ask me right now before I go. I will see them in the chat. And you can still get an answer to a question right now in person. Let me do it. I always do this. I like every time I see it, I do it like this. So let me give you a trivia then. Trivia about the track. And by the way, before I do that, let me give a shout out to Hurt Piggy Pig. Lara, I'm so happy you're here. And to everyone else who's here. Project 19, I didn't imagine you would miss it, really. So thank you for coming. And so I'm not sure how to pronounce Sylvain Hunter, but still, it's like this. Why no face come today? Well, because I just, it was in a rush. I didn't know if it will work itself out. So I wasn't prepared for that. I don't have my camera ready. I don't want it to be messy. It can be simple, but it shouldn't be messy. I think you can agree with me on that one. It's a first one. It's a simple one. We didn't have much viewers. We had some, and it was very pleasant to me still. I'm not saying that it was like, oh, not that many viewers. I didn't think that at all. I was planning on like 20 people, and I got something around that. So it was around my expectations. Despite me having like more than 1,000 subscribers, it doesn't translate that instantly to these numbers, especially when you are asking people to go in to some place in a specific time, right? It's not a French name, so it's Sylvain, probably. I'm sorry to interrupt myself. So I thought it shouldn't be messy. It can be simple. It can be like, I've invited all of you to my apartment and we listen to the track together. There's no practical limit to it. The second or the fifth one can be 10 times bigger, and hopefully would when people would figure out that it's a tradition. I think it will work great, actually. I would try it once more at least. I think you would agree it's a cool thing. But yeah, let me read a message. I hope this answers your question about the Facecam Project 19. Let me answer to a message from Barry. Thank you so much for going the extra mile for us. It's really interesting to see how everything mixes together. I think this as well. Right now, a lot of people are doing this strange race when they post a lot of things to keep the flow going. I see how it works. I think it works on me. And when I'm subscribing to a channel, I'm kind of interested in getting new stuff regularly. That's why you subscribe sometimes, right? I should be frank with you. It's not me. If something like schedule is a polar opposite of the word Vospi, it would be in a dictionary, really. And sometimes it's just, well, not the best thing for your life, but I have to admit, it's not my strong character trait at all. So to account for it, I think it would be much better for me to have this open and intimate moments with you. And then we can disconnect again, just to keep your personality and my personality not like entitled. I don't want you to have an obsession over me. I don't want it to work like a cult, because that's, I think, the ultimate goal of this strategy. When you post and post and post and post, you create some kind of personal following, which can overgrow you. It's nice. It's very pleasant. It's a good feeling. I had it before. It's not the healthiest. So I don't wish it. First of all, I don't wish it to you personally. For me, it would be beneficial. It would be easier to do business, much more easier than now. It would be very easy to post new tracks in terms of I will get appreciation instantly, which is very pleasant thing. I can describe how much of a pleasure that is. But still, I have to be open. I don't approve. I don't like this sort of thing. And it would be ironical if it would work itself out into exactly the thing that I'm just describing, and someone will dig the stream and point a finger. But hey, we all change. So then, specifically in XX, I don't think so. The question is, would I have new tracks in Pump It Up XX? But that's for the reason of me trying to focus on other things still related to music. I see that my inner, let me put it this way, and I hope I'm not talking like too much in terms of opening the theaters back. But let's suppose you are in the dressing room right now of our little Vospi theater. I think my inner Vospi was down for years, and that's the worst. That's just awfully bad. I don't like it at all. And what I mean by inner Vospi is like I have this character inside of me who comes up with things. Really, it's not a personality disorder. I just have this clear vision of who he is, maybe. And I separate him from myself. But he was really out. He didn't give a shit, basically. He was lazy, he was kind of uninventive, and most of all, he was lost. Because my formative years, I had a full family, but after 14, I've lost my father. And I think I still have this missing fatherly figure inside of me. That's why when I feel like I don't know the right answer, I get really lost. It's not often at all. I'm quite confident in myself most of the time. But in music, there's no right 1, 2, 3. There's no right answer in music. You have to be sure that that's what you would want to happen. And yeah, that's not a great sight, frankly speaking, when you are lost in that regard. So I didn't want to, air quotes, lie when I was creating new tracks. And this resulted in a very interesting change of direction. But I'm very worried. Like, I can't stress now how worried I am about this little thing of me setting you up for a disappointment. Because I got known for different songs. They were upbeat, upward, and I think Lara, if she's still here, would agree that older Vospi from the past sounds a little bit different. But once again, I very much appreciate your note, Project 19, about a Vospi touch in the latest song. I still hope for every one of my tracks to have the Vospi touch. I want it to happen. It's fun to mock other people's work and genres. It's fun to try to imitate things. But I don't want it to be my sole purpose, and I really don't find any joy in that. So, yeah, that's a long-winded answer to a pump it up thing. I don't want to focus on it right now. I would love to have a manager, right, who understands me and who loves my music more than a business bond. A business bond, but a personal bond as well. I would love that. But I suspect I'm a very difficult person to manage. So I would be extremely lucky to see this person come in my life. This is why I don't want to set myself up to failure by creating high BPM, high density tracks that I don't like. But right now, and with this stream and with these previous tracks, maybe you heard my previous track, Your Stupid Condo Life, that's the actual title. I want to try to pick my own curiosity first and foremost and see if you approve. I hope you do. I really hope you do. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not over dramatizing. It's like a big point of me being not calm and not reserved sometimes. So the biggest things I'd like to listen from my past is long hoped a track which doesn't contain any beat or any bass sound at all. And I think it expresses a lot more than I was trying to do drum and bass. For me. Really. But now I gotta tie things together. I want to get back to these faster songs. And I think I would. I have 2 or 3 very good drafts that I can't wait to finish them. But it's kind of hard right now. I have work. I teach music. I do private lessons on how to produce music. And it's my favorite job. I would like to do it in English as well. Right now I have 8 Russian students. We have personal work. I love my job, but I get kind of distracted and get kind of drained when I do this. I don't necessarily enjoy watching a lot of Fruity Loops after me doing my work. So I want to balance it out. I want to work my way back. I did it back in 2009, and now I lost a lot of that inside of me. I want it to work. And thank you for listening to this little story of mine. Barry asked what inspired you to start making music, and Sylvain Hunter said, "I agree. You have your own sound, and I hear it in your new track." Thank you. I want it to be this way. I really hope one who listens to my different tracks can spot that. I want it to happen. Answering to your question, Barry, it's not. I don't think it was an inspiration thing. And once again, it's not a very pleasant thing to say about yourself, but it would be honest. I started to try to compose music when I was 14, and I did a track which found any way outside of like my table and my friends and some internet acquaintances when I was, I think, 17 or 19, something like this. I'm not quite sure, frankly speaking. It's gotta be 2005, so 19 probably. And I changed some software along the way. A lot of things happened, of course. But to your question, what inspired? Nothing inspired. I was just fighting for my survival. I didn't like my life at all. And I didn't know it. I didn't know any better. So I thought I had everything, but I wasn't calm at all. I was scared almost all the time. I didn't know what I wanted, which is the scariest one. A lot of things happened to. I'm sorry, I'm answering the chat, and I'm not good at doing this in real time. A lot of us were bullied. A lot of us had problems with society. It's not necessarily what I'm most concerned about. I think that the most concerning thing about me was I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what my opinion was. I was scared to have my own opinion. I was often punished for my own opinion, and I had very erratic behavior as a result. I was a fuck off, to put it short. Put it shortly. So I think it was my balancing mechanism to write music. I think I wanted to stick out. I think I wanted to be special, and I also had a special passion for it. I listened to a lot of music when I was young and later. And I had one of the most profound memories in my life directly connected to specific tracks. So of course I wanted this to happen to someone with my music as well. So it just stuck, man. It just stuck. It's not like I made this big decision of me going like forward and try and I didn't decide, let me become a musician right now. That would be awesome. I would be a great musician. It would work itself out. Yeah, I was quite sure of myself, but it's a different thing. It's not a plan. You just do it again and again and again and again and again. Repeat after rinse and repeat. And I'm just fortunate that you are listening to my music now, not when I was starting out, because it was ugly. It wasn't good at all. I have some recordings on cassettes, actually. I recorded my tracks from the PlayStation 1 when I was where I was doing my first work, and I have like 4 or 5 cassettes of almost worst music you would find for this software. Really, I did some instrumentals for my favorite songs and so on and so forth. But once it progressed, it's just I thought that would be a great thing to do. So I just have a history with the thing. I count my musical career from 2004, and to answer the Mega Puffy Cat questions, what was the first track that I consider like commercially something? I think it must be Sun Sun Sunday, original and remix, and Smells Like a Chocolate and Snowstream, that bunch. They are the earliest who got their way into, in this case, ITG3. And ITG3 was cancelled, but to me it was like a very pivotal moment. A second when you say, okay, other people genuinely think that it works. They think that this way. Okay, that's great. Let's go forward then. I was jumping to the ceiling when I got the ITG deal. I never was like this upward happy in my life. Oh, I so much appreciate you saying this, Sylvain, that you love Snowstream. It's such a old and rare track, and I'd like to redo it. I'd like to dig the old project and have another vocal on top of the old instrumental. I think it would be great. I want to release a pack of old songs, but with little like homages to these like couple dozens of people who remember my old songs. I think that would be very cool. I would appreciate it if I would be a listener, and I would like you to have this pleasure. Because you see, sometimes I have musician friends who are not doing these things, and I think they don't quite understand that if they disappear, or if they they don't want to do it, there's no. I once talked to a very good friend of mine. His alias is Migus, or Megus. How do you pronounce it in English? I'm not sure. Like this, it's written like this. So he wanted to stop making music, and he has his specific flavor, and he has people who listen to him. So I told him that it's not. You should decide for yourself. You should decide your own life, of course. But you should know that once Megos disappears, there's no Megos. There's a lot of good music. People won't be. There would be no shortage for people to get new music at all. But there would be no Vospi if I would decide so. And I don't want to decide so. I really don't want to decide so. I want it to still exist. I want it to send little hellos to you every now and then. Questions are still going, so let me go. Not let me go in terms of ending stream. Let me try to answer all of them and speak to you more. And if you are interested in listening more about the track itself, I will put you a description. I will put a time stamp in the description. How about that? Okay. First of all, DM Piano, a live stream. He remembers a live stream with bass through remix, and he's asking about me releasing it. Once again, I can do it easily. It's just that I felt like I was kind of dead inside, and I didn't want to go back 5, 6, 10 years and resurrect those tracks. I wanted to be sure that I have the actual little sparkle in my fingers right now, so I won't be scared of losing this one. Because, you know, a DM Piano, by the way, we haven't met, but he is a musician as well. So and he writes music. You can check it out. So I think you can relate to this feeling that you want the track to be the most recent, the best version of you right now, blah blah blah. Especially when you try to when you are scared if it would be perceived in the best light. So I found a remedy for that shit. You just do a lot of tracks. That's how it worked for me in 2006, 7, 8, 9, and then it just something happened. Till 11, it kind of made its way on some kind of, I don't know how to call it, inertia, but then it's just stopped. It just stopped. I didn't like it at all. Believe me when I say this. But when I hear these kind words that you just write here because we have an occasion, I don't think you understand what it means to me. It not only it's pleasant, not only it says, okay, that was good. That's all right. That's all fine and dandy. It's just I want to know that it's actually helpful to you, and it changes my actual psyche when I read these things. It realigns me because I don't meet people who actually, and don't do a lot of live shows, for example, who appreciate my music right now. Right? And when Sylvain writes, you have more fans than you think you do. A lot of people in the dancing game and rhythm game community love your songs. I believe you completely. I want to have a connection. I want to have this. I want it to be more palpable to me, to myself. I think that's the main reason for me to do the premiere thing. And I want to heal myself this way. It might sound egotistical, right? But I'm not that scared of this assessment as I were before. I was very scared to be called an egoist. Right now, I'm not. It's not a bad thing. I'm not a bad person at all. I want to be a good person. I aspire to be a good person. So being an egoist is maybe being someone who puts his interests and the interests of his family first. And that's what I try to do it right now. Oh, I love this message. Christopher Cusa writes, I love reverence. I found it yesterday. I don't know how I am supposed to pronounce it in English because it's supposed to be reverence, right? But I think in English it would be reverence. I found it yesterday. I can't wait to listen to more of your stuff. That's so great because reverence is maybe the most recognized of my songs at the moment. So I found it yesterday. It's like, welcome, man. You're like the newest one here, I think. Welcome to the stream. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the subjects, and I think I can be excused because I'm not nervous, but agitated right now. Because I can feel the discussion going on. And I appreciate you sticking around, by the way. It's not like I'm silent, I'm playing piano, and I see a meter. This much people are watching you. Nah, it's better when you are saying these things. I really like it, really. I have a question from Wicked Nova. So how would you keep yourself motivated if you are really passionate about making music, but things just don't go your way? You make things go your way. That's my recipe. I just it's kind of my job right now. and I have to treat it like one. But I never had a proper one, a proper job. I was successful in a lot of ways, but a job is like you have to work, you have to go and go and go. If things don't go your way, let me give some advice to you. First, ask for advice from different people. Don't be afraid, because I'm a little bit afraid to ask for advice or help. And I was historically, and it didn't play it. I had to compensate with work. So advice is great. Second of all, I think if your music doesn't sound air quotes like music, you have to get a teacher. That's why I am teaching, actually, because I was struggling myself, and I didn't. Back in, let's say, 2002, 2001, I had a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. Not that much, not much of internet help. No YouTube, of course. Only modem connections here. And a lot more years of modem connections, actually. But man, if you are talking about yourself, you are really passionate about making music, make more. Ask more questions, be polite to your colleagues, and try to immerse yourself in that stuff. Try different things. Also, see what's your best quality in life. Myself, I can analyze things. I think I have very good analysis apparatus, and also I am kind of inventive, not in the necessarily scientific manner, but I like to combine things and see if it works. So I approach it the same way. I do my music the same way. For some people, they are very good with order. They are very good with business side of things, or with motivation, or with discipline. Pick your best one and just make circles around it. Circles, 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 circles. If you are a musical artist, you are kind of a service. I'm still a person. I enjoy talking to you. I would appreciate you as a person. But as someone who has 1,000 subscribers, right now more than 1,000 subscribers, I am a service. I have to provide in some ways. And still not be a robot, right? So do things. Do things. And I would also advise you to do from 10 to 100 push-ups every day. I'm not kidding at all. At all. Just split them into chunks, into dozens, and do them throughout your day. It would literally change your life, change the way you think, change the way you approach problems, change the way you feel if you are scared. And I'm saying this out of experience. I was down when I was 2 years in without proper training on rhythm games. I was competing before. I won a lot of tournaments in Russia. I was the first champion in Russia for 4 times on DDR, and the first one on Pump It Up. And I trained a lot, but then I injured my knee, and I got a lot less sports in, and I didn't notice how my motivation and moods declined, but they did. You have to do it, man. You have to watch your diet and do great things for you. I have spices, I have mineral water every day, and I never enjoyed myself more in this particular regard. Wow, Lara, you are still here. Oh, that's flattering, actually. Can't wait to meet you in person. I really want that. Thank you. Okay, I hope this kind of answers your question, because it's a very broad subject, but that's my 2 cents. I'm not giving you general advice as I would give it if I had like a live stream about making music, like to my student, right? I'm giving you advice as someone who you probably know by musical experience. So for me personally, it works this way. Maybe you can apply it yourself. Maybe this advice would hold a special weight for you. Yeah, Christopher, I can't agree more. I couldn't agree more with your point on depression and anxiety. And I hope I wouldn't read the whole sentence. I hope you can read it in a live chat replay. We have a little bit of talk about nervous. Well, if I'm still here, let's talk about that. Nervous was inspired by harder drum and bass, which was occupying my mind at the time, like Spore and Noisier. But I didn't know how to do atonal sounds, so I had to compensate with parts. I consider myself a good melodist. I can write good melodies, good parts for like pop instruments. I'm not good at very specific orchestrations. It's not my specialty because it's very hard. I wouldn't be as wouldn't be as confident to say that I'm good at this. I'm not. But in case of Nervous, I had a little trick throughout the whole song. I sped up the parts. That's the whole magic behind the strings and guitars and a lot of things. I rendered a lot of parts like I was sampling a song, but I made a song myself. I made the same trick in Sun Sun Sunday, in Do You Remember That Tune, in Video Out, I don't remember specifically, I think Video Out E, I think, contains a vocal sample of Layla from another song, completely another song. I do it frequently. First of all, it lends to a story. It lends to a story of you being a musician, of you doing this thing. But also it keeps you like in your inner loop and pushes you to explore the sound. I did a bunch of like little noises. Let me show you. I can actually play them for you. If it will work, let me check it. For bass through. Not for Nervous, but for bass through, which I think Nervous is kind of a sequel to bass through. But for a lot of reasons, bass through didn't come through as I wanted, as much as I wanted it to. At least I feel that way. Maybe I'm wrong. It's better for you to judge this particular thing. But I made a lot of like stupid sounds to try to fit them in a track. Of course, this one.
What you gonna do then you get this bass through?
So it's a double track thing, and it works. And I did some things that I didn't use. I used this one.
Do not look back, Vospi's on the track.
But I didn't use this one. I think it's it's kind of funny, so you gotta be. You have to understand that these things, they sound strange outside the context, but you have to source your material. Also, it's like 2006 or 2007. I have very different voice right now. I think you can tell, but not that different. But yeah, it is different. But I had some things that I didn't use them, like this.
Check it, check it.
And I used it later. When I wrote a song called Got Stolen, I used the samples that were originally intended for bass through. This is the sample.
You can drop.
I think you can recognize it if you remember the song Got Stolen or Got Stolen Infinity. By the way, I think I would release Got Stolen Infinity publicly in the recent time, just to finish with it. It sounds something like
you can drop.
Something like this in the actual song.
You can drop.
Drop. Do I like sampling my own sounds. So that's what happened in Nervous. Nervous is a song which had a lot of preparations before actual construction, and it was finished in maybe 2 or 3 days. But then I went maybe years of trying to get the master right. So when you heard the Nervous song, it existed for maybe 2 years before, maybe more. I'm not completely sure on the timing. And the same maybe goes for Bass Through, and Bass Through is something that didn't work out, I feel. I spoiled it. I just made it worse. Iteration after iteration, I made the track worse. A lot of people talked to me before from drum and bass community. I just got into there. I didn't know a thing about drum and bass production specifically, and they taught me some things, and I tried to implement it back because that's how you're supposed to do it, right? But it didn't work in the context, and I just ruined my own. I came against my own instincts. And that was a wrong decision. In case of Bass Through, I have the initial version. I think I can play it for you in the end of the stream. And it sounds kind of wrong. It sounds kind of not punchy, but it still sounds right to me. It sounds correct. Let me put it this way. So yeah, I'm not completely sure how to approach it in the future, but in the past, that's how it worked out for me. Nervous was a good one. Nervous, it turned out great. All that I wanted to do, I achieved there. So I very much appreciate you saying these things. Video Out C is my favorite. Yeah, come on, Video Out C needs a revamp. It sounds kind of broken right now, and Pump It Up. I would say this once again. I'm being honest here. It's a very old song of mine, maybe 2007, something like this. Actually, if you download an MP3 from my site, every single one of them contains a specific date. A release date, sometimes 2 or 3 of them, implying that I've remastered it or reworked it in some way, and you are like seeing the iteration of what I've considered to be born in the past, but right now it's kind of reborn. For example, Smells Like a Chocolate, if you're referring to Pump It Up songs, Smells Like a Chocolate I specifically reworked for Pump It Up Pro 2. But before, it existed in an older version, and you would find it 1, 2, 3. You would find it quite different if you would check it out. It sounds really different to an original, and in a lot of ways. I wanted to sound louder, to sound clearer. I'm sorry, and to engage people more, maybe. And I tried also, it was, once again, it's a game. You have to play a little game with your listeners. Like, did you know this song? And now it's kind of a little bit different. So the original song sounds, I don't know if it's the original one. Yeah, it's the original one. So the one that you hear in Pump It Up, it sounds like this. I'm sorry? So you can hear me very clearly, and it's me who's doing the countdown, the French countdown, right? It's, once again, it's just a plot inside the song. And you can hear that we're going into this part, right? And then there, I'm a better vocalist. And before, I didn't know how to sing at all. So the same part in an older version is done like this. And I quite like it, really. It doesn't sound modern at all, but it reminds me of so many things. Just this very room that I'm talking to you in, it looks completely different. I don't know, I'm getting carried away here. here.
Qu'est-ce que ça? Ça sent bon le chocolat.
I had a friend to come in who studied a little bit of French, and I asked her to do this sample for me. So it sounds quite a bit different. But in this case, I have them both up. They are not like hidden. So I think I will do the same with bass through, but not with nervous, because nervous is not that different. It's not a rework. It's not a remix or anything like that. It's just it's just a better version or worse version, worse master, basically. I love you mentioning video out. See, I have yet to find a video game that would like to take all the video out serious, because it was supposed to work, and it works inside Stepmania, I believe so. I'd like it to. What happened to Video Out F? Man, I revived it. Let me say it right now. I thought it would be like lost forever. I lost the project with an HDD. I was very not pleased with that, because I felt like, yeah, when I heard the thing that I came up with there, I thought, yeah, that's interesting. That's very much something. That's something I want to do. Why I'm not doing Video Out F right now, when I found the project? For some crazy circumstances, I found out the backup with samples, because it wasn't about melody, because I still remember the melody. It's interesting and really specific melody, but it used two of my own samples reversed, and they are very specific from a different song, and you wouldn't get this specific feeling that you get in Video Out F without those samples, and I thought I lost them. I didn't. Oh man, I was so happy that day. I'm presented with the question with Video Out F, and maybe you can like give a little input, maybe right now in the chat, or maybe in the comments if you're listening afterwards. What do you think I should do? Should I try to stick to air quotes old Vospi? So I totally can, I think at least, totally can do it with my, say, old habits. I think maybe I can. In order to not make it stick out, to make it clear, serious, to like bring the lost child back. Or I don't commit to that, and maybe it ends up being quite a bit different, but it would sound, let's say, recent. For the life of me, I can't make up my mind, and I'm kind of, when I say it out loud, I want to do the first option, but when I'm alone, I want to do the second one. So I hope it made sense to you, first of all, and maybe you can give me, maybe I can ask you for advice. Maybe you can decide better than me in this particular regard, right? It's so pleasant to talk about these things, about video outs and nervouses. It's just, I didn't want it to be a merry-go-round, but I have to earn it. I have to do more recent songs that would be worth mentioning. Let me say a word about this song that I've just released, just to make it a one-stop podcast for people to listen. It was a game for me. I picked one synth and I made every single sound from the scratch. I actually wanted to showcase the synth to my friends. And once I started, I never stopped. And when I thought, well, maybe I can make it work as a song, maybe I can put in an idea inside. And what I found is I can. I just shouldn't jump out from these constraints. And I had a lot of, like right now, someone just presses a button with Vospi, the most recent song, and it sounds nothing like the songs I'm most proud of, right? It's just a completely different thing. But should that reserve me from posting it? Should it reserve me from having this chat with you, well, of course, everyone removed from the situation would say, no, it shouldn't. Everyone sane, I would think. Everyone I would like to stick with and have a chat with. But man, when you are alone, these things are different. So it was a thing for me to go there. Just do it. And still make it a thing. Still make it something. But not. I didn't want to step on my throat. So I put a little bit of a plot in there, just a little bit. Less than in my latest track called Your Stupid Condo Life, which is very strange, but I'm kind of proud of it. In certain terms, I still think I can do better, but it was nice. And also, I wanted to give you a little bit of a trivia. First, Lin drum. That's the classic drum machine that's used in this song. If you know these drums, that's the name. If you recognize them from the songs that you or your parents listen to. Also, the sound that the song ends with, this one. This sound, it was made by accident with the same synth that plays the bass part. Just the same. You hear it throughout the whole song. Dun, 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 dun. Let me play you just once again to illustrate my point. In my special pack that you can download in the description, I have this little loop rendered for you. So you can just use it maybe as a ringtone, maybe whatever you would like to do with it, really. Besides copyright infringement, obviously. Let me find it for you. 1 second. 1 second. Here is my project folder. And you have only the bass and only a keyboard there. I wanted to make maybe a bass and the drums, but I stopped on that one. I find it kind of sweet. It sounds sweet in terms of like in the older times. Once on the internet, I heard that someone described 80s music, which I never did really like, honestly. I didn't. I just... He said that it sounded so pure and infantile and genuine. I thought, it's a pop songs from people who are interested in money, who want to talk about sex all the time. All the stories are about sexual attraction. Not a bad thing, but not the only theme, right? Well, time passed by, and for some reason I found this sounds very attractive. And this same synth, this one, it produces this sound if you go from the lowest octave to the highest in one jump. Just it's glassy otherwise, but if you do in a one-step jump, it's this. And when I heard it, I'm like, I gotta build a song to end with the sound, like no matter what, with this little wink that you get at the end. Yeah, I have an idea. Let me look in the chat before I say to you what the idea is. Okay. What I want to do right now is, first of all, thank you for hanging out right here. And I could play for you. I have a piano near me, which is connected. It would work brilliantly. But before that, we're talking about songs. I would like to share with you one thing that I think I will never release, really. And that's because I don't know how to do it. There's no start to it. It doesn't start properly. There is a climax to it. I love the sound. but it's not, I don't know, it's got to be a part of something special, a special compilation, a present, something. So it doesn't have a title, really, but it's, I think it's much, it's about the softest part of me as a man. Sounds strange maybe, but I think you will figure it out when I will play it for you. It's almost a complete piece. It lasts for, let me see, it lasts for 2 minutes once again. But I want to play it to you right now. I don't know, for any reason. So let's do it. I was being silent all the time for the purpose, for a reason. You can rip it if you want it. I won't be offended at all. I don't think I should post it, but if you would like me to, I would, I think. Thank you for listening, by the way. I had a question from how do I pronounce your name? Please tell me. Sylvain, right? How do you feel about people using your songs for videos? I started responding in text, but I felt that I should respond here. Well, great. People should if they want to. Credited work is great, but I don't like when people alter the songs. Sometimes they slightly change the sound. Sometimes it's like beyond belief. There is a version of Lonely Pretender posted, I think, with the best intentions. Like this person genuinely liked the song, but he just did something awful with it. Maybe not, maybe mistakenly, maybe software made like this decision. But then you see that it gets like thousands of plays and you get a little bit depressed. Because it sounds, by the way, just you will hear this first. The version that is in Pump It Up of the song Just Kidding, every time I hear it, I just cringe just the smallest bit, a little bit, because I made the more recent version of the better sound that would sound much better in the arcade, but for some reason it didn't get through. Didn't get through. I'm still bad at that stuff. Sorry. And also, if you like that song on Pump It Up, please listen to the full version, because Pump It Up lacks my favorite part of that song, which saved the freaking song for me. The last guitar solo part. I just very much appreciate this part. I want it to exist, and it doesn't exist in Pump It Up, which is understandable. I get it. If I was a music game producer, if I would do the same thing. I would do the cut. I would insert the generic poof. Maybe not completely the same, but something along these lines. And I get they have a lot of work to do in Pump It Up. I get it completely. Like, you won't hear me complaining about them doing a bad job in terms of content management, but maybe there are something. I'm sorry, Lara. If you're talking about Lara wrote, maybe we should license it and make a different cut. Lara, it's licensed specifically to Pump It Up. That's the only song of mine that is like PU exclusively. They paid different money, and this is it was their commitment on their behalf after having this. They were trying, I think that was their program. I think I was a part of this wave of R300K and Memmi. How do you pronounce his name, by the way? All that guys who got around the same time got in. Yeah. So Lonely Pretender. Yeah, you would Google it. Yeah. But hey, Lara, I have a solution, and I would tell you in private, right? I won't tell it publicly yet. I think I have a very good idea about how to make it work differently. It would nice. Yeah, I think it would. So, Just Kidding is the only. Sylvan Hunter is asking. Just Kidding is also Sylvin. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm doing this wrong. Is it still Hunter? It's the only PU exclusive I have. It's the only one. Others are not exclusive songs. So Smells Like Chocolate is not restricted to Pump It Up, and Video Out C is not restricted to Pump It Up, which is why, and I wouldn't restrict it, because I won't. I want it to find a home like the whole series. I want a game to have all video out tracks. Really. And I think you have a free, I'm not sure if it's free still, but it's called DJ Maniacs. You can play my songs in there, and they almost set out to do that. They have a lot of my songs. Like, once again, the most flashy ones. This break and high-paced type of stuff. Still love it. I'm not like pushing back. I have more interests in different things. But once again, when I hear you saying things, it alters things for me as well. So thank you that you are doing this. Hey, Dickalid, how do you pronounce your screen name? I'm not sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, I saw it before. Thank you for coming. So guys, we almost did 1 hour and a half, which is quite a lot. I have to go to post this song on SoundCloud and VK, but of course it's not top priority compared to the thing that happened here. And everyone who thought it should be a live stream, you were completely right. I was mistaken to trying to restrict it to text. It all worked out perfectly in the end. I am very satisfied with what happened, and I'm very grateful to you for sticking around, for paying attention, for actually listening, which differs from someone like outside of this conversation. Also, I would like to say hello to anyone who is listening afterwards, because there would be a lot of people who will do that. And I have to greet you. I thank you once again for paying attention and for being inquisitive enough to listen for more than an hour of me talking basically about myself and about the things that I do, I plan, I love, and I adore. In the end, I would still like to play some piano to you. It wouldn't be a specific piece, just like in my other YouTube posts, you can find the recent ones called Night in Russia. And if you would like to know the latest things in terms of just new tracks, I think the same option is SoundCloud or Facebook subscription. I just post them there. But if you have anything to say to me, just say it here in the comments or send me a message. Because I feel like I exposed a lot of thoughts and wills and problems, anything. If you want to say anything, everything counts. I want you to know that this option right now in this conversation is open to you. And let me go back to playing my beautiful piano tech. Thank you for sticking around once again. Have a great day ahead of you. For all the Russians, have a good night, because right now it's almost midnight. 2 minutes till 20 minutes until midnight. So let's fire up the piano. Thank you all. Thank you all. It was great. I don't want to name every single one of you. It would be just not that. Just imagine I shook every single hand of yours. I would do that in real life. Thank you. See you later. Let's do it again, right? Sometimes. And now some piano. Have a good one, party people. Thank you for sticking around. See you next time. And here, Lara, that's correct. Спокойной ночи. That's how I pronounce it. See you.